Howdy, welcome back to Celebrating Vintage Model Kits. Today we're going to look at a Comet kit of the Beech Super 18, Beechcraft Super 18. This is a 1962 kit on 1/88th scale. Kit number is PL2739. This originally was issued in 1956 by Comet. And the Beechcraft 18 was a 6 to 11 seat light civilian aircraft. Did eventually get employed by some military, particularly the Army Air Forces and U.S. Navy during World War II. It was commonly referred to as a twin Beech, and it was continuously produced from 1937 to 1969, a 32-year productions period, which at the time was a record. Over 9,000 total were produced. The vast majority of those go into the military. In the USAF, it was known as the C-45 Expediter, also as the AT-7 Navigator and the AT-11 Kansan. In the Navy service, it was the SNB Kansan, and later on it was also known as the UC-45J. One statistic shows that about 90% of World War II bombardiers and navigators were trained on Beech 18s. Post-war, the Model 18 became the preeminent business aircraft, and also was very popular as a feeder airline into the bigger airports. Currently, there are still 240 still on the U.S. civil registration. Quite a number of them also around the world are still flying. First flew on January 15th of 1937. And 1955, the E-18S had a 6-inch higher cabin, revised windows, and that's what was dubbed the Super 18, which is the subject of this kit. Couple of additional bits of information on it. December 10th of 1967, Otis Redding and his entourage were killed in a crash of a Super 18 in Wisconsin. 20 September 73, Jim Croce was killed with his entourage and the pilot in Louisiana. And also on 4th of July 1987, the Montana band was killed in a crash in Colorado. So let's take a look at the kit itself. So this is made by Comet. Comet was known for and still produces wood kits, stick and balsa. They did make some solids. Then they did get into the plastic kit field for a little while. And then they ended up selling all their molds to Aurora when they pulled out of plastic. So here we've got the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. Includes cement on this 1962 issue. Here's the Comet logo down here. Beech Super 18, Hobbycraft, Chicago, Illinois. And fairly simple illustration here. And on the side, we've got, looks like a reverse of that illustration. Use Comet paints and plastics, or plastic cement. This side here, similar. And on the end, some more information. Here's our kit number, the PL2739. So this is a 39-cent kit. And same thing on this end. This is a printed on cardboard box, so it's a little duller than what you see with the slicks in the 50s and 60s. And kind of unique for this is, instead of an instruction sheet, they printed the instructions on the inside of the lid. So here you've got exploded view of the aircraft. You've got your color scheme here. It's also mentioning that there's a larger scale version of this as PL502. I did not see reference to that kit as being produced, but maybe they were planning on it. And then you've got simple instructions And then a little bit of history on the Beech 18. So it looks like you've only got a gear up option. It does come with a stand. So let's take a look what we got inside the box. Here we've got our decals. Still in pretty nice shape. You've got speed lines going down the side. Registration N45B. I was able to look that up, and that was an actual aircraft. And in fact, this box art is taken almost straight from a photograph that I was able to find. I think it might have been a publicity photograph from Beechcraft, but we will take a look at that here. So now let's look at the kit itself. So being this is a 1/88 scale, it's a little small. And we've got, here's our fuselage halves. And everything is engraved, which is pretty nice. How easy you can see that on white. But it is engraved, panel lining. And the cheat line is also engraved on there. Got molded on whip antenna. Some other kind of antenna here. Undersides, we've got some more bulges for probably radio stuff. Tail bumper. And this looks like it's probably for the stand. A little bit of flash on the windows. Basically nothing on the interior. And here we have our wings. Let's get a top and bottom piece that match. So again, we've got engraved panel lines. We've got engraved stuff for the paint job along the front here. You can see the extended wingtips of the Super. And looks like we've got our end number engraved on the bottom there too. And we got molded on wheel. The retracted position. You do have gear doors on there. Over those. And here's our engines. So we've got some representation of the radial engine inside there. Some recessed panel lining on there. So pretty nice little details. Here is our tail, horizontal tail. A little bit of engraved panel lining there. Kind of nice representation of the elevator. Pretty nicely done. And here's our vertical stabilizer and rudder. Same thing again, we've got engraved lines on there. Looks like we got a couple of dots, a couple of holes for putting this on here, really delicate. So that fit on there. Here's another one of our engines. And let's see what we got here. Some props. So here's our little propeller. Not too bad for that scale. And here we have our windows. And this one goes on the nose here. This goes over the door. So these are kind of typical of these kind of row windows where you get these kind of sinkholes happening inside there. So that's a little annoying. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, not sure how that's going to fit unless you're supposed to, yeah, I guess you're supposed to break each one of those apart and put those on individually. Yeah, I guess it is. You're supposed to break them off individually. So there you have it. That's going to be a pain. And here is our windshield. And not too bad of a piece there. And it feels like, yep, engraved framing on that. And looks like for the rear of the propellers. And that's about it. Here's our stand. with the Comet logo on the side. And the vertical piece. Bingo. And I think this is what plugs into the bottom of the fuselage. And then pops on to the stand there. So you have it, kind of a cute little kit here. I don't see too many civilian aircraft being produced around this time in plastic kits, so this is kind of a little bit of a change. So I mentioned earlier, the original issue of this kit was 1956. Slight revision in 57 and also in 58. Then there was a Cleaware issue as part of their Comet series from Cleaware in 59. Then we've got this 62 issue where they changed this here into adding the cement. And then shortly after that's when these molds were sold to Aurora. So 63 was the first Aurora issue with completely different box art, but still maintained the same decals. There was also a 64 issue for Aurora Canada. Then the molds got sent overseas to Aurora Netherlands in 69. And finally, there was a set that was produced by Comet. It was part of their Air Power and Plastics set, and that included their 707 and F-104 in the S2 tracker, and this kit here. So kind of an interesting mix of aircraft for their Air Power and Plastics series, but I guess that was kind of their lineup of kits. So why not throw them all together in a box and sell them as a Christmas set? So that's about it for this. If you've built one of these, tell us about it in the comments section. If you got one sitting on your shelf, shoot a picture of it and send it in for our next viewer build video. Well, thanks for watching, and have yourself a great rest of your day.